So we have a panel of professionals up here that, and it looks like a little more intimate setting. It might have a lot of room for questions. First, my name is Mr. Fritz. For those of you that don't know me, I'll be the moderator for today's panel discussion. First, what we're going to do is we'll go from left to right. They'll go down the line, and they will introduce themselves. I'll let you know about their industry, what their job title is, that kind of thing, and just give a brief introduction.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Travis Anderson. I'm an engineer with Marietta Fire and Rescue. I've been a firefighter now for about 11 and a half years, been in the business for about 20 plus. Really excited to be here right now. And if you guys have any questions, feel free. We have Captain with the LA City Fire Department, so you're in good hands.
Hey, really quick, Samantha Lund, are you in here? Samantha Lund? No? Okay. Thank you. All right.
Hi, I'm Alan Morgenstern from Morningstar Productions. We're a concert sound and lighting company. And I should have known better to hand the mic over without turning it on to the fire guy. Sorry, I saw Mr. Weeze in the back just laughing at me there. We do sound, lighting, staging, video for concerts, events, meetings. We also do sales, like these mics right here we sold to your school. So that's what I do.
Good morning. Danny Weens. I manage vineyards for my family's winery in Temecula, which means I grow all the grapes that produce the wine for some of the wineries in Temecula Valley. And as a side job, I'm here on campus as a football coach. So I know a couple of the boys. But basically, agriculture in our area is huge. Riverside County is one of the largest agricultural counties in the country, which a lot of you don't realize, but next time you're outside, look around and you'll see every farms, vineyards, nurseries, all kinds of stuff. So.
Good morning. My name is Justin. I work for that company that your parents probably complain about every month when the bill comes, Southern California Edison. I've been with them for about 10 years now. I currently am a field supervisor. I started out as a meter reader, going around reading those meters for your electric bill, and then progressed from groundman to, it's called an apprentice lineman, and then into journeyman lineman and foreman, and then on into the supervisor role. Basically, we're responsible for building and maintaining all the power grid that feeds your local area, and then areas all the way from like the San Joaquin area up in Northern California all the way down to Temecula, and then we go all the way east to Blythe as well. So it's a company that employs over 12,000 employees, and we have a wide range of careers. It's not just power delivery. We have everything from fitness instructors to law department to journeyman linemen to mechanics. So plenty of opportunities within the company. So if afterwards or during so you guys have any questions, feel free to ask.
Hello, everyone. My name is Sam Darden. I work in the financial planning, financial services industry. Been in the industry for about 20 years. The name of my company is Trilogy Financial. We do have offices in Southern California. Closely, I think the closest one here is Corona. But with that being said, I more or less help people plan and prepare with regards to their most important financial goals. The task at hand is more or less to take action and put them in a position where they're able to attain them or reach them.
Good morning, Broncos. Kip Cothran from KC Photography, representing from the 951, keeping life R-E-A-L like a dizzy spell. You may have seen me out there in Bronco Nation out there for the BBC. Every Friday night I try to come out and say hi to you guys and go over to the loud and proud section and keep the fans screaming and shouting. I am a professional photographer. I've been in the industry for 35 years. I love to scream and shout. I love to yell and holler for more. I love to entertain and be insane. I love to just keep going. 25 hours, 8 days of the week. Give me a call. I'll be the freak.
Here we go.
So I get to follow that, which is great. Thank you. My name is Billy Hansen. I'm a respiratory therapist at Riverside County Hospital. I've been in the healthcare field for 10 years now. I started out as an EMT in San Diego and then went to fire academy and paramedic school down in San Diego as well. and transitioned to respiratory therapy. So nice to meet you.
My name's Kiana Creed. I'm a realtor, and I feel like you guys all know what a realtor does. I help people buy and sell homes, and that's it.
Good morning. I'm Alex Escorcia. I work for the Los Angeles City Fire Department in Hollywood. I'm a captain there. Been there 21 years. Before that, I was a firefighter with CAL FIRE and the city of Riverside before LA City called me, and I decided to go over there. I have all three of my kids came through Vista. My youngest is here now, and go Broncos. If you have any questions, feel free to ask them, okay?
Does this one work? All right. Good morning, everybody. My name is Jennifer Cooper, and I work in college admissions for the Fashion Institute of Design and Merchandising. So we're a design college located in LA, San Diego, Orange County, and San Francisco. So I help students really kind of discover their creative path. And professionally, I've spent over 20 years in luxury brand management and PR.
Good morning. My name is Tracy Radford, and I am a trichologist. I help men, women, and children with their hair loss and scalp problems. I have a hair loss clinic in which I own in Riverside, California. I've been in the industry for 26 years. I started out as a hairstylist, and some of my clients were experiencing hair loss and scalp issues. And in school, we were always, cosmetology school, we were taught to send them to the doctor, and I did that. But some of them weren't getting viable answers, and in good conscience, I just couldn't sit there and watch them lose their hair and things like that and not do anything about it. So I did a Google search, came across the word trichology, didn't know exactly what that meant, and after finding out, I realized that was something that I needed to do to help my clients. So I studied under one of the leaders in the hair loss industry, and that is what I do.
Hello, I'm Officer Aberly. I'm the school resource officer here at Vista. I've been a police officer for 29 years. Started here in Murrieta in 2005, and then prior to that, I worked in Orange County. And one of the things that I found interesting in hearing some of the panel, I'm learning a lot about different occupations like trichology. I never knew what that was, and so it was interesting. One of the takeaways, though, that I realized is you can hear about a job or get a job title and think of in your head what that is, but you really don't know what it is until you talk to someone who does that job to see what the day in, day out type of experience is. Like police work, for instance, I've had ride-alongs when I worked in patrol, and everyone comes away with it thinking, or saying, actually verbalizing, this is a whole lot different than I thought it would be, because their perception is based on what they see on TV. So I really urge you to network, and it's kind of like social media, but face-to-face, it's better, right? You can see the passion in someone's eyes when they talk about what they do, and you can catch that passion and maybe learn about something that you didn't know about, or a career path that you didn't know about before. So it'll be fun seeing all of you learning and asking questions.
Just to elaborate on networking, we said this in the last panel. Networking is really, really important because it allows you to get an in on the industry that you might be interested in. So have you ever heard of the phrase, it's all in who you know? Have you ever heard that? Has anybody ever told you that before? I actually think it's all in who knows you. That's my personal opinion, and I think that's important because how many of you know who LeBron James is? You guys don't know who LeBron James is, or are you just sitting there? Really? You don't know who LeBron James is? Unbelievable. Well, it would really help if LeBron James knew who you were if you wanted to maybe, I don't know, get into basketball or something like that. You know what I mean? So at the end of the day, networking and getting to know people in the industry is very important. Let's move on here. So panel, by a show of hands, how many of you are working in the field that you were interested in high school? Look at that. Wow. So how do you even have a job? You know, if you didn't know what you wanted to do in high school, it's okay. And that's kind of the whole point. That's why we're here. So for those of you that, for the panel members that followed your intended path, how did you decide on like a particular college path or career path? For those of you that are in the fields that you knew what you wanted to do. Yeah, absolutely.
Well, I got involved in Explorers, and we have an Explorer department with us, and it's just it's a subdivision. We actually have one of our Explorers here today. Go ahead and raise your hand, stand up. There's Tyler right there. He was at the station yesterday. He went through the academy just a couple of weeks ago in July. It was a hot month. However, the Explorer program really creates a blueprint for those that are interested in the fire service. And was there women in the Fire Explorer Academy? There was tons of women in there. So it's a great avenue for both men, women, and anybody else who likes to join. And like I said, creates that blueprint for success. And that's exactly how I kind of went. They just said, hey, you gotta go to school, and then these are the classes you need to take. You got to, joined a fire department at that time where I volunteered and did some volunteer time, and remained in college, working on an ambulance, and then going to paramedic school. And that was all from what the firefighters at that time just told me what to do. So that was it. So if you guys or girls are interested in the Explorer program, you can go on Marietta Fire website and go to the Explorer page, and we have a great page for that. And if you guys are interested, July next year, it's going to be a nice, beautiful, hot month, and we'd love to take you out there and teach you the ropes.
Test. Does anybody else want to elaborate on that as well? For those of you that followed the intended career path?
So my career path kind of went this way, then that way, then this way. Because as a little kid, I wanted to drive a truck, a semi truck, because I wanted to deliver soda and other things, because every time I'd see the soda truck or the beer truck when I was little, somebody'd be happy. So I was in college and getting my degree in physical education, because I also wanted to be a PE coach. Started our family a little early with my wife, so I got my Class A driving semi-trucks. Did that for 10 years, which gave me a broad base in how to work on equipment, forklifts, moving different things around. And then my family decided to start our own business. So we all worked our day jobs, and then did our winery on the side. So they brought me on board because I knew how to be a handyman. I could drive all the equipment, drive all the trucks. And then I learned how to be a farmer. And how many of you out here took the little career thing, you did all those little questions. They say, this is what you should be. Well, mine was truck driver, park ranger / farmer, PE coach. So luckily I've grown. I was able to drive a truck, and then now I get to manage vineyards and take something from nothing, grow it all the way up, and send it off to the production where they can turn it, not those kind of grapes, but wine grapes. And now in the agriculture field, I can we can grow anything. And I'm also, which allows me to be a football coach. So by owning the own business, it gives us the free time that you can go follow another passion. So you can work your day job and then come to a high school and get to coach kids in football. So your career path doesn't always, if you get knocked off one path, you can go find another path. So I'm currently going to go back to school to get my degree in agricultural science in the fall. So just to broaden my horizons, to keep growing, because the changing atmosphere and the climate is a huge concern among the farming industries right now. So the more education you can get, if your career path takes you here for 30 years, you don't want to be in your 50s and 60s without an education to fall back on. But just keep working your way towards your goals. Find a passion. If your passions might change when you're 30, it might change when you're 40. You might just wake up one day and decide, you know what, I just want to paint. Or you can go be a house painter, you know, not necessarily paint pictures. Just passions change, people change, career paths change. So the biggest thing right now in high school is for you guys is to keep your doors open. So every time a door closes, it limits your pathways. So keep your doors open by doing your homework, getting good grades, and not closing those network doors. Don't burn a bridge. Don't close a door that you might need. Find a friend, keep your friends, and be passionate about what you want to do.
All right, so for those of us on the panel who had kind of a similar path where, you know, I wanted to do this, and then now I'm completely over here. Does anybody want to talk about that with some of the juniors? Because obviously being juniors, you're really starting to look at colleges or careers at the moment. And if it's colleges, you got about a year, and then you're going to be, you and your parents are going to be spending money on those applications and scholarship applications and all that stuff and trying to figure out what you want to do. So you don't have to know exactly where you want to be, but at least have a plan to get started, you know? So would you like to elaborate? Yeah.
All right, so by a show of hands, how many of you know what you want to do, what career you kind of want to go in? All right, so that's awesome. Like they talked about, it's great to know exactly what you want to do and to just go on that path, but it's not always realistic. That doesn't always happen. Life happens. For me, I wanted to be a firefighter paramedic. When I graduated high school, I tried to do all the right things. I went to Palomar College, I went to fire academy, I went to paramedic school, and then unfortunately, I got injured and I wasn't able to do what I wanted to do. And that's just life. Life happens. Life throws you curveballs and obstacles, and you have to kind of adapt and overcome. So I kind of had to sit down, and I looked at what knowledge I had, and I took the schooling that I had, and that's how I found respiratory therapy. I found a small college. It's a private school around here. I don't know how many of you know about it. It's called San Joaquin Valley College. It's more career focused. So it's really every day you're learning about the job you want to do. And you're learning about the skills that you want to do from people who do that job. So it was nice to be able to take the knowledge I had from paramedic school and kind of transition it into another career in the medical field. So you kind of have to be open to all things. You can't, sometimes it's great to know exactly what you want, but life can throw you curveballs, and like you said, you have to keep your doors open and look for something else that you can transition into.
When I was in high school, I wanted to do a lot of different things, but I wanted to be a teacher. I ended up graduating still wanting to be a teacher. And then I went to Cal Baptist, which ended up being way too expensive for my family. So I had to move back home. I couldn't stay in the dorm. I couldn't do the college experience. And I went to MSJC, and still while I was there, I was exploring different options. I wanted to be an engineer, and then I went back to wanting to be a teacher, and then I wanted to be something else, a nurse. I did so many things, and I thought I was wasting so much time. And now I'm here, I'm 26. I'm 26. And I'm in the career that I want to be in. I'm in real estate. But just don't, if you change a lot, or if you feel like you're not doing what you want to do, or later you realize that it's not what you wanted, don't give up, don't be scared. There's a lot of time. Like, I could still start another career and be fine. So.
Keep forgetting to wait for it to turn green. Anyone else? Anyone else want to speak on that?
Yeah, I just wanted to. Oh, go ahead. No.
Do your thing.
We have time. We can do both. We have time. We're
I'll
good.
keep it short. So when I was a little kid, I always wanted to be a firefighter. Everyone wants to be the hero, right? But in high school, I had a lot of pressure from my folks. Hey, you have to decide what you want to do, and I get that. I know some of you are probably feeling that pressure to know what you want to do. Well, if you don't know, don't stress. Start college, get your general ed out of the way, and start going in a direction. The worst thing you can do is be intimidated and not start. So, start your college career and get the basics out of the way. And in the meantime, I'm going to say it again, network, talk to people, find out what their plan is. Ask them questions about their plan. Oh, really? What is that career? What's involved in getting involved in that career? Another huge thing, and it just popped in my head. Communication was another theme in the last panel. Your written product, when you send an email or write a report as a police officer, it's so embarrassing to be in court and to recognize a typo that I did, and I'm like, really? That's horrible. It reflects poorly on me, and so I would really stress to pay attention to your writing skills, work on those skills, because every one of these careers up here, you're using writing skills. I mean, you're sending emails, you're connecting with other businesses, and that is what they see, and they make a judgment. If they see a bunch of typos and really bad grammar, that doesn't reflect positively on you or whatever product you're offering. So I just wanted to throw that in. I went in a couple different directions there, but I'll hand it over to you, sir.
All right, ladies and gentlemen. I have followed my path as far as photography goes. I've been in business for 35 years, but I've also done other things on the side. As an entrepreneur, I'm not always happy with what I'm making in one business. I want those 6 figures. I want to make 6 figures in multiple businesses. So you as juniors getting ready to be seniors, BRONCOS, be the best. When you're out there doing your thing, there's a person named Steven Espinoza that graduated from Marietta Valley at 16. He graduated at 16 and went to go work for Google. You folks have the opportunity to create something. Steven's now back here in Marietta. He worked for the White House last year. Yeah, he's real. He knows, he took that Google stuff, now he's doing Facebook stuff. You guys can create something that in technology, whether it's over here in school, right here at the with your 23 printers, 3D printers, whether it's with the microphone in production with Mike Ruiz, whether it's in band. You guys have the opportunity to create something that the world will totally freak out about. Totally get busy. Work that brain. Be insane. Just get busy. Have fun and get it done.
Have fun and get it done. I think that's my favorite thing of the day. Have fun and get it done. Yeah, I kind of yeah. All right. So, if some of you are your own boss, some of you have bosses. Something important to understand, because a lot of us, especially in our adolescent years, we don't like taking instruction from people, right? Don't tell me what to do. Don't tell me what to do, Mom and Dad. Don't tell me what to do, Mr. Fritz. But unfortunately, the way it goes is you're going to have to follow some instruction, or you're going to lose your job, or you might lose classes, you might lose a scholarship, things like that. The real world hits you really, really fast and really hard, so you need to understand that it's okay to follow instructions, and it's actually pretty cool to stay in line and do what you're supposed to do. It doesn't have to be on every single thing, but if it has to do with your career and your life, you might want to follow suit just so you can be successful and live a good life and have a family and do what you want to do. So for those of you that have bosses, or you are your own boss, what are some things that you're looking for, especially in a young adult, when they go to apply for a position in your company, or just are looking for work?
So for me, as the owner of Morningstar Productions, we currently have a job posting out there right now for a new warehouse manager. While I've been sitting here, I've got 4 resumes that I've received. All those resumes, before you can even turn in an application online for this, It asks two different questions. Do you have live experience in this production field? And there's one other question it asks, but the first one, everybody puts yes. And then it asks, how many years experience do you have in that field? Everybody puts at least one in there. I look at your resume right after that, and there's nothing on there that says live experience. Garbage, rejected immediately. The second thing is, and it probably shouldn't matter, but you need to review your email addresses. Because when I get sickrick@gmail, I'm going to be like, is this the guy I want working for me? I just got that yesterday, literally. So keep an eye on those things. He's 100% correct down there. Spelling, when I get a resume, when I get a cover letter, when you're misspelling stuff, when the grammar is terrible, hey, I want your job, dude. You know, I'm not going to even go any farther with it. So watch the grammar, put a nice cover letter together, tell them why you want to be a part of that company, show your passion for that company. If you have something that you can bring to the table for that company, a specific skill, that something really special, make sure you list it in there. Let us know what you're bringing to the table, because we want those people to have passion for it. Those are the people I hire, the people that really want to be there every day, that want to show up on time, that want to show up early, that want to be in service to the company. And that's the most important thing, is to be of service. You got to be there, you got to put in the time, you got to show what you can bring. And that's how you'll succeed and grow in our company.
Okay, so I sit on the interview panels for firefighters for the City of LA Fire Department, and I'm going to tell you right now that I've seen young kids right out of high school to 48, 50-year-old men and women that have owned businesses, been in the military, so I've seen the whole gamut of things come before me. So what I want to encourage you guys is, what we want to see as far as the fire department's concerned is, obviously we like to see people that have taken an interest in this career. So pursuing fire science classes, going to an academy, being an EMT, being a paramedic. But then I've gotten those kids or adult males and females that are sitting in front of me, and I'm looking at their resume, and they had high school, they had a couple semesters of JC, and then nothing, and they're 30 years old. So now I'm sitting there, and they're telling me how great they're going to be at the job, and this, and that. And so I'm sitting there thinking to myself, okay, so what have you been doing the last 9, 10 years? Well, then they kind of look at me sideways like, well, kind of working, you know. My recommendation to you is, even if you don't know what career path you're going to go into, is every semester take a step forward. Do something positive. You may not know what you're going to do, but go to school. Even if you started at JC, every semester be accountable for your time, because someday you may be sitting in front of an interview panel and you're going to be asked, so what'd you do? You might want to decide to become an attorney, or you might decide to become, you know, something else, and you're going to be sitting in front of me or one of us, right? And we're going to be looking at you, and we're going to say, okay, we could tell that you wanted to be an attorney, you went to school, and then all of a sudden you switched your direction and you started doing your fire stuff. Okay, for example, I have a kid right now, not a kid, he's 3 years old. His name's David Walters. He swam with Michael Phelps, Olympic gold medalist. He's my rookie right now. So here's a kid that was a stud athlete. He went to Texas University. He got on the Olympic team, was a gold medalist swimmer, and his family, they're all investment bankers in Texas. He started on that path and said, you know what, it's not for me. I want to go pursue a different career. Moves out here to Los Angeles, decides to become a firefighter, and he's taken all his classes, finishes up his bachelor's degree, starts paramedic school, finishes paramedic school, and all of a sudden he's in front of our panel. He gets a job, goes to the academy, passes our 6-month academy, and now he's at my fire station right now, so I have this stud of an athlete. So all I'm saying is, just do something every month. Look at your timeline, set it up after you graduate, set it up, follow the semesters. Just be doing something positive for yourself. Don't do the couch time.
Absolutely.
I think working in marketing and PR kind of gives you the foundation to understand that every single one of us should be marketing ourselves. And that means in every interaction that you have. So in my career, communication has been extremely important, and that's written and verbal. So that's understanding how you present yourself. Create your own elevator pitch. Does everybody know what an elevator pitch is? If you were stuck in an elevator with the person that held your dream job, what would you say to them from floors 1 to floors 15? That would get you closer to finding that opportunity. And personally, for myself, you know, I grew up tiny town in Texas. I'm an Aggie. I'm not going to hold it against that UT rookie that you have. And moving to New York, I knew nobody, and I did not have a fancy family name behind me to open doors. So I had to open doors myself. And I think the most important lesson that I ever learned is that it's important to work hard, it's important to listen, to anticipate others' needs, and lastly, it's important to be nice. You know, I am not a New Yorker. I look at everybody in the eye, I say hello to everybody. It got me in some strange situations in New York City, but I left every job I had, whether that was waitressing for an event, which eventually got me into leading gifting suites at the Oscars, to, you know, managing celebrities. I always left a thank you note when I left that job and was always polite because that's how I was raised. And that certainly helped me to stand apart from that very icy cold Yankee mentality. Sometimes it worked, sometimes it didn't. But I think how you leave people, the impression that you leave, is going to last and it's going to come back to you. So remember those manners that your parents teach you because they are important.
Awesome. That's a through line for every profession is how you treat the people you work with and the kind of impression you leave. It's the same thing if you work at Starbucks and you're 18 years old and you make my coffee poorly because you're upset you have a job at Starbucks. Like, you got to make the coffee really, really, really well if you want to get to that next level. Maybe they'll offer you a manager position. Maybe do that while you're in college. You get paid more than the average person, and you save some money, and so on and so forth. Or you can make coffee poorly and think that you deserve something better when you can't even do that simple job well. You know what I mean? So at the end of the day, make sure whatever you do, you leave a good stamp on the people that you work with and network properly, so that way you will get the opportunities that you want. For sure. Just because you're making coffee at 18 years old doesn't mean you can't do what you want to do eventually. It's just a stepping stone. Just training. That's all it is. We've gone quite a while with the panel. Does anybody have any questions for anybody? Anybody have any questions? Like, this is a really, really important part of this panel discussion is individual questions. Nothing you ask is going to be laughed at or anything like that. I'm going to come over with the microphone. Go ahead and stand up, introduce yourself, and then who you would like to talk to and ask the question.
Hi, my name's Asia Harris. I have a question. It's not really directed at anybody like individually. I just wanted to know like what you guys think about like is it possible to be successful without college?
Is it possible to be successful without college?
Snap, crackle, and POP. I go by the name of KC. Yes. You can do trade. If you can get under somebody to help teach you and get life's experience, hands-on experience is what you need. And there's trade schools out here, whether you go to, 4-year or not. My son's actually going to IT school here in Temecula. He wants to be a systems IT guy for computers. But he does have training now. He has training and he has hands-on experience. He's not going to make it $60,000 a year yet because he didn't have enough hands-on experience. But as long as you can get somebody to teach you, bring you in, and educate you, and give you that one-on-one. For a photographer, it's lighting, it's posing, it's attitude. You need to have a personality. You need to be out there and represent and just, you guys are Broncos. Come on now. Everywhere you go, you want people to know who you are and where you come from. So you got to show them. You got to represent, go out and get what you want, and do what you got to do. Peace.
Does anyone else have any questions for anybody specifically? Yeah. Same thing. You'll, stand up. Don't be shy. Talk on the mic. There you go.
Okay. I'm Nathan. This one's not really directed towards any of you, but probably towards like the fire and police, but how do you get through the most stressful times of your jobs?
That's a good one. How do you get through the most stressful times of your positions?
So we all have coping mechanisms we develop as kids and growing up through high school and into college. And you'll carry those coping mechanisms right into a career. So the important thing is to develop positive coping mechanisms. And some of the negative ones would be like overuse of alcohol or using drugs to escape a stressful or stress in general. And one of the techniques, like during a stressful situation, one of the techniques I've been taught is breathing. So I was in a pursuit. It was one of my first 3 pursuits I was in. Stressful situation. And before I started talking on the radio, I just took a deep breath and then let it out real slow. And then I was able to talk normally like this. But I'd heard other officers not do that technique because you can hear it on the radio and you can hardly understand them. They're so stressed, their voice is up like 2 octaves and they're screaming in the radio and you can't understand them. So that's an immediate coping a way of reducing my stress. And then after work to relax or reboot, I should say. Physical fitness is big. I like to ride bicycles. I like to lift weights. I like to do, CrossFit kind of things, and I mix it up. So for me, that reduces overall tension or stress. So how about you, sir? You were going to... Yeah.
All great points. And Nate, right? Great question, by the way. And don't be afraid to stand up and ask a question, any of you guys. This is your opportunity to hit up all the pros right now. These are all the professionals. We have all kinds of different coping mechanisms. Do not be addicted to alcohol or drugs. Stay in school. Okay. But the main thing for us, last year was deployed to Puerto Rico. For urban search and rescue. We're part of Riverside Task Force 6. LA City was out there, LA County, and there's a bunch of USAR Task Force teams that were out there in Puerto Rico. I saw kids, I saw families, and where we should not have seen those types of things, and devastation. And the way I cope with them is by talking. I got to talk to my crew. I got to talk to my wife. Got to talk to my friends, because if I hold all those thoughts and feelings inside, it's not going to do me any good. So my pill is working out. So if I didn't work out, I'd probably have to take some pills. So it's a good thing I can work out. 2, if you do turn alcohol, make sure you're 21 and just have a glass of Weens right here. There's a pitch for you, Daniel. There you go. But in all seriousness, after a call, during a call, it's epinephrine. It's adrenaline that is rushed, and you don't see those broken bones. I mean, you see it, but then you go into a mode, you treat it, and then after, it's a good time to start talking about it. We always go, okay, what's for dinner? And then after dinner, then we start talking about maybe possibly that call that we just had that could have been potentially devastating. We have Firefighter Lackey and myself, and we have Captain Bentley back there. And we were in a life-saving call last year. I'm going to just wrap this up real quick. It was a 4 or 5-year-old that was a full arrest on scene. We ended up saving that individual's life, and we just met them the other day. So they're doing absolutely just fine. So there are positive outcomes, but what do we have to do? We had post-incident stress debriefing, so we had to talk about it. And that is the best way to, I think, combat some of these problems.
Any other questions in the audience? Yes. Bring the microphone over to you.
Hi, I'm Eddie. I have a question for Officer Averly. What education and training have you gone through to become an officer?
Okay, and I started, I shared with you how you should take a step forward. So that's what I did. I didn't know exactly what I wanted to do. I was working a lot of little jobs and things. I started with my AA at Saddleback College in Orange County. Started there. I met a boyfriend and girlfriend couple in one of my classes, anatomy class. And they were all excited about this EMT course they were taking. And I thought, this is networking. I'm getting back to that again. And I was asking them questions. I thought, oh, that sounds really exciting and interesting. So I took the course. I got hired as an ambulance driver. And at that company, you would take turns. You would work with a patient on one call. The next call, you'd drive, and you'd switch off. And then I went down the path of being a firefighter because I saw what firefighters did. But my eyesight, uncorrected, at that time wasn't good enough. And they didn't allow you to have the surgery. They felt that that was a liability or a risk. So I thought, okay, well, I see what police officers do. And I like that role also. That's kind of cool. So I looked into that, and their standard was a little bit lower because it was harder to get applicants to be police officers. So I started applying. And again, I knew it would be a battle, an uphill battle. I wasn't an explorer. I wasn't a cadet. I had no friends in the business. So I would go to an interview, and then I would ask for feedback. And sometimes it was, I could tell they were kind of surprised. They were like, oh, okay, well, the interview just ended, but okay, So I was actively seeking a job in law enforcement, and that showed by my intense interest in, hey, how can I improve? What can I do? And then after becoming a police officer, I went back to school, night school. I was married, had a small child, and so what I would urge is if you're going for a 4-year degree, try to get that done up front. It's more difficult to start a career, start a family, and then go back to school. And I've heard kids say, well, I can always go back to school or something, or if they want to, a young adult wants to drop out and start, I got this offer for this job. I would really say, if you get your degree, that's going to help you. So in law enforcement, no, you don't necessarily need a degree to get hired, but it will put you ahead of the pack when you're applying. And then once you are in that career, you get more pay, hourly pay, if you've got a degree. And when you start promoting within, you need a degree. You can't get past certain level of rank without a degree. So in a nutshell, I guess. All right.
Awesome. We've got about 5 more minutes. Does anybody have any other questions? You have a question? Yes. You don't need the mic? All right. Well, that's
I have a question for all you guys. What's your favorite part about your job? Also, I'm Juliet.
Favorite part about your job? I'll go first. The favorite part of my job, I said I help men, women, and children, but just serving, because I just have a servant's type of spirit and help. And I had a 6-year-old little girl that came in. It's probably been about 4 months ago now, and she had gone totally bald in the top of her head. So imagine being 6 years old and losing your hair. And her mother had taken her to the doctors, and they told her she would not grow her hair back, sent her home to not grow her hair back. So this little girl heard a doctor, an authoritative figure, tell her that she would never grow her hair back and that she would be bald. And she was devastated, and so was her mom. And I could tell that over the phone. And so when they came in and I did that consult with her, and then, so I have to be professional But I'm looking at the 6-year-old and thinking, how must she feel, right? And she looked at me and she said, "Are you gonna help me? Are you gonna grow my hair back?" And I said to her, "I sure hope so." And I really felt that in my heart for her. I really wanted to help her. And so we had to work with doctors and get some testing done and things like that. But I did come up with a treatment plan for her. And I'm happy to say that I saw her probably a month ago, and her hair is growing back in the top. And to see that little girl's face, and she rubs her hair, and she says, "Oh, I'm so happy that I'm growing my hair." So for me, the best part of my job is putting a smile on their faces, and helping people who have been told there is no help for them.
Awesome.
So in the medical field, like Officer Averly was talking about and everything, we do see a lot of horrible things. We see a lot of really hard times. But one of the greatest things about my job is I work a lot in the ICU and in the ER. And those times when you actually do help somebody, when you actually give them some kind of relief, one of the hardest things that I see is when parents bring in their small child and they can't breathe, they're having a horrible time. There's no harder feeling as a parent when you can't help your own child. And to be able to go in there and to help that kid breathe and help them get better, and you see the relief on that parent's face, it's very rewarding. And it's probably the greatest thing about my job is actually helping other people. And going back to the coping skills too, that's kind of what I hold on to. On those days when we do see the hard things and the bad accidents and everything, I can kind of go back and I can hold on to those times where I actually did help somebody and I helped improve their life, even just a little bit. If you help improve somebody's life a tiny bit, it's one of the greatest feelings in the world.
Great question, Ms. Julia. Along the lines of Ms. Radford here, serving others in the financial industry is very rewarding. There's a lot of people out there, a lot of couples that sometimes it's uncomfortable to talk about your finances and goals and that sort of thing. And when I hear clients tell me that, I make something that's sometimes uncomfortable to talk about, and I make it comfortable for them to talk about it because they now have a plan and they're looking to achieve certain goals, it really does my heart good to know that I put them on the path in the direction that they want to go.
Awesome. Yeah, what's really great is kind of when you're searching for a career path or college, you're really kind of trying to find out how you're going to be helping people through your career, because I think every career, including mine and everybody's here, is some way it helps somebody do something, whether become healthy or learn something or get fantastic photographs of an engagement or something like that. Like, at the end of the day, how are you going to help people is something that you should ask yourself. How do I want to help people, and in what way do I want to do it? It doesn't always have to be something super, super intense, but it could be something brand new. It could change the world, whatever it is. So that's what I want. That's what I hope you are leaving here with. But let's give the panel of professionals a round of applause, please. Awesome. All right. Thank you very much, everyone. This concludes our panel for the junior class. Thank you very much. Tell your friends to come to school.